Bennie Fowler, we have a legend in the building, a man who taught me how to play in the NFL. He's a New York Times best-selling author with his book, Slow Getting Up. He's a 6-year veteran of the NFL. He's a husband to one, a father to one. Nate Jackson.
Yeah.
What's up, brother?
What's up, guys? Happy to be here with you guys. What's going on?
Great to have you, my man. Great
Hey,
to
father
have
to
you.
one and another one on the way.
Hey, we got announcements.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Got a little girl coming in August.
Dude, girl, having a daughter after having a son's the best. Daughters are the best. One, they don't pee on you like your son probably did. Did your son pee on you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens.
Pooped on me too.
Yeah. The poop's gonna happen no matter boy or girl. But congratulations, bro.
Yeah.
How's it feel? How's it feel to be a dad after everything you've been through? A 6-year NFL career, multiple surgeries, writing a book, now becoming a speaker and an auctioneer. Like, where does being a dad fill the satisfaction in your life compared to the many things you've done?
Yeah, man, that's a good question. Definitely the hardest thing I've done. The other things you mentioned right there, those are individual pursuits. Those are selfish things. It was about me, how far I could go in my life, right? And so until when I was playing in the NFL, I was pretty much single. I mean, I had girlfriends here and there, but it was about me and my football career, what I wanted and what was going to make me successful. Yeah. You know, when I stopped playing football, started writing, it was still about what was in my mind, what I wanted. And then when I met my wife and fell in love, I made a commitment to her and I stopped being selfish. And it's not about me anymore. It's not about what I want. For example, after this, I wanted today to go and do some work and do some, but he's got an ear infection. I got to take him to the doctor, right? So my wife's going to go to work. I'm going to go home and take the boy to the doctor because he needs it. But just the little moments with my son are so rewarding. You know what I mean? Like you think about all the things you did on a football field or successes you've had off the field. None of them compared to just like a tender moment with your son. Yeah.
Would love to dive into the football player Nate Jackson right now. The undrafted Nate Jackson.
Yeah.
Talk to us about your draft day experience.
I was a wide receiver at a Menlo College in California, 600 students at the whole school.
Wow.
I walked on at a 1AA school at a high school, didn't get recruited at all, and I got cut. So I transferred to this D3 school just because I wanted to play, man. And I was fortunate enough to land at a school where there was a bunch of ex-NFL coaches there. I'm sorry, NFL players as coaches. Bill Walsh used to come to our games.
Wow.
Tom Rathman was our running back coach. Guy McIntyre was our O-line coach. Keith Millard was our defensive coordinator. Like all these dudes were there who had NFL chops, right? And so I was able to show my stuff. Bill Walsh was the guy who kind of got me to the next level. He was a consultant with the 49ers. So my name was out there, but my agent was like, you could get drafted. You might not. You know, the Niners said they might draft me in the 7th round. The Ravens liked me. So obviously day one, I wasn't worried about getting drafted, but day two, I thought I could be, you know? So yeah. Had some folks over at the house and we were chilling. But the day dragged on and, you know, when you don't get that call, it's like, but then I did get a call at the end of the draft. I was like, oh, it's coming. But it was the Niners. And I also got a call from the Ravens, both of them saying, we're not going to draft you, but we want to sign you as a free agent. So as soon as that draft was over, I had a choice to make. You know, I didn't get drafted, but I was choosing between the Ravens and my hometown team, the 49ers. I lived 20 minutes away from their facility in Santa Clara. So obviously I chose the 49ers.
When did the dream start to become a reality? When did it become like, whoa, this is another level of football. I've got some serious work to do as a collegiate first team All-American.
There was incremental moments of whoa. You know what I'm saying? Fast forward to, you know, the 49ers had an open tryout for all the college seniors in the area. And I went out on the field and I was the best dude out there. And I'm like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I can do this, right? These are the guys who are being considered for the NFL and I'm the best dude out here. Okay. So then I get signed to the 49ers on the first day of minicamp. I go out there and I'm lining up across from Ahmed Plummer, who was the starting corner at the time for them. And I beat him deep and I got the ball. I'm like, whoa. So there's these moments where I realized that I belong, right? And after that one workout with the Niners, their receiver coach, George Stewart, pulled me aside. And he's like, hey, man, like he said the same thing Bill Walsh told me. Like, you can do this, man. You just got to relax a little bit, because I was like very eager. I mean, we were in shorts and I was diving for balls. I was laid out like boom.
Undrafted.
Yeah.
You know exactly. You
then
have to
like,
do
hey,
that.
Man, relax. But there was those moments where I realized I belonged. But then there was also those moments where I tried a move that worked in D3 off the line of scrimmage on a slant and that shit didn't work. You know what I mean? The guy just stood there.
Hand in the chest.
Yeah. Okay, that's
cables.
Welcome to
indeed-
the league.
Yeah, exactly. So I knew the technique was something I was going to have to work on, not the belief or the talent or anything like that or the technical stuff. I have to perfect my craft. It's not just about going and getting the ball, like it was at the lower level.
I want to double click on something you said, Nate, because it gave me as a rookie next to you a lot of like confidence in moving forward. I remember at one time, and you talked about moving to tight ends. But what was that process of the disappointment, the recommitment, and then the success going from wide receiver to tight end?
Yeah, it's just sink or swim, at that point, because I knew that I got to perform at a high level every single day. At practice, I got to be one of the best guys at practice every day. I got to know every position on the field. I got to play every special teams. And if you ask me to play tight end, I don't want to, but I will. My dream coming into the NFL was to catch a lot of passes, just like I was in college. I was catching like over 10 balls a game my junior and senior year. And so that's what I did best in this world. I would tell Shanahan, if you want to win the game, just throw me the ball every day. But that's not how it goes, man. You get there, and there's Rod Smith, and there's Ed McCaffrey, and there's Ashley Lilly, and there's all these guys who are making more money and are going to get the ball, right? And so it doesn't matter how many balls I catch in practice or how good I think I am. You have to do anything they ask you, and adaptability is very important. If you're not an adaptable athlete, it's just not just in sports, in life, then you're gonna lose out on some opportunities, right?
What do you think stops people from adapting, from choosing to adapt?
They have a rigid vision of what they thought they were going to be, and they're unable to amend that. But look, I use this metaphor all the time. You jump on a ship in like Cape Cod or something, and you go over to Europe. It feels like a straight line, but you look at it from space, it's a bunch of zigzags. You're always course correcting, right? So you're always adjusting to what's being thrown at you. For me, came into the league as a big receiver. In college at Cal Poly, the coach that cut me thought I should be a tight end as well at the very end of my tryout there. So this had been a conversation that had happened for me in the past. And Mike Shanahan didn't couch it the way you did. He wasn't like, hey, man, you're kind of pretty much just a lineman. We want to move you down there. He's like, well, because he had
big skill. We prefer big skill.
Yeah, big skills.
Big skill.
Big skill.
Well, I love when you guys get in the pat and go lines and like to catch the ball and stuff
we're
like
the
that.
most talented athletes. We ain't got to get into that.
Most
We all
talented.
know we agree.
But I got a call from Shanahan. He's like, we're thinking about moving you to tight end. We think you'll get on the field more and have an opportunity to catch more passes. And I'm like, all right, cool, But at the time, I had my previous season had ended with a broken tibia, so that was pretty much healed. But still, you're healing that, and then I'm putting on 25 pounds that off season, and then going out there and becoming a tight end. Yeah. And minicamp was great because you're just running routes and just and I was like catching everything. I was like, this is awesome. Tight end's easy, man.
And then
but then training camp comes around, put the pads on. And it was really brutal. I was getting my ass kicked every day. It was bad. And it was really hard to go, into the meeting room and watch that on film after I'm getting my ass kicked like that and have, Rico and whoever else just rip me to shreds.
Wow, Rico.
Yeah. So the technical stuff, like I talked about before, that I had to learn as a receiver was like 2 times that as a tight end. So it took me a couple years. 2005 and 2006 were tough for me.
Yeah.
Just trying to stay afloat with that stuff. But my advantage in the passing game kind of helped me out, and then my adaptability as a special teams player.
Talk to me a little bit about what you just said in terms of training camp being hard in the transition.
Yeah.
And then also watching it on film and watching yourself lose, because I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't understand in terms of professional sports.
Yeah.
Is that your flaws are being seen by the entire team.
Oh, yeah.
And it is one of the most humiliating and embarrassing things in life, but it also helps you to perform.
Yeah. Thick skin, man. It just you really develop thick skin. And I think people need to normalize having thicker skin in life. And if every business operated like that, every business would be a lot more successful.
Absolutely.
Because everyone's being held to the same standard. You're being critiqued in front of your peers, so everyone knows where everyone stands.
Right.
And so it develops, I think, a sense of and a standard of excellence that permeates through the locker room, where everyone knows that if you're here, you belong here because you're improving on your mistakes or your weaknesses, and you're not repeating your mistakes over and over. The guys who repeat the same mistakes, get yelled at for the same thing every day, they're not going to stick around.
You finally made the transition. You're playing your best ball. You're a complete blocker. You're catching passes. Your career's over.
Yeah.
Now what?
Ain't that about it? You know what?
Yeah. Like,
That's
what?
the hard part of football that people don't understand. Most people don't have that Peyton Manning exit. I was still learning the game. And I was finally, like you said, I felt like I was in my bag with my skill set. And then I got cut. And then I never found my way back, man. And so it's hard to move on when you have that skill set that you've been working so hard at, and you know that there's a lot of football left in you and a lot of money left on the table too.
Illustrate that for us, though, that it's over now.
I got cut when Josh McDaniels came in.
You
That's
saved
actually
yourself.
lucky
You
for
saved
you.
yourself.
Yeah. Don't even get us started on that.
No,
I don't know him, but
Yes, you do. You know bad coaches.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So Shanahan got fired, and then Josh McDaniels got hired a month later, and then I was actually still in the facility rehabbing that hamstring that had popped off. But it was feeling pretty good. But I went up and introduced myself and there was nothing. Like I tried to have a normal conversation with him. He just didn't laugh at any of my jokes or anything, man. And I'm like, okay, I might be in trouble. And I got cut about a month later. My hamstring was still pretty trash. I wanted to get back in the league, and it was a desperate time for sure. I mean, my agent was telling me there's going to be other teams interested, stay in shape. My hamstring was bad enough where I decided that HGH was going to fix me.
wow.
Yeah. And I went to San Diego, and I was training with a trainer to get back in. And he was really, really good, but there was only so much he could do because my hamstring was literally still unattached. It never really healed.
They didn't reattach it with surgery, or
That would be still to come. So I had 3 workouts that summer. I had one in New Orleans, actually with Sean Payton and Drew Brees.
Nice.
I had one in Philly during the middle of training camp, and then I had one in Cleveland. Didn't get signed in Philly. The Cleveland one, they said they liked me. They sent me home. I went to Cabo. I'm like, this. They called me my second day in Cabo. They're like, we found a spot for you. Come on back. I'm like, are you kidding? And then I fly to Cleveland, and I'm putting on, a uniform in Cleveland in the middle of training camp. I was there for a week, and I got cut. It was Mangini was the head coach there, and he was, basically the job.
2.0.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like he would do the stupidest ever, especially coming from Shanahan, who was all class, all system, all integrity. So anyway, I had the week in Cleveland. I got cut, and after that was when I had the New Orleans workout. They had a injury to a tight end right before the season started. Didn't get that one either, and that's when I signed with a UFL, Las Vegas Locomotives. Okay, and that's where it all ended.
You're holding on to the
get
dream.
Pretty sad and depressed, and I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? But 2 weeks into that, my hamstring finally did explode, like for good. And that was it for me. I came back to Colorado, had surgery, and that was the end of my career. But delusional as I was, guys, I thought, okay, I fixed the problem. Now now someone's going to want me. So I went back to San Diego, started training a little more, but it was like a slow burn realization. Even my agent stopped returning my calls. Not stop, but it was like it would take a while, and I'm like, I couldn't even get a hold of him. And so it took me over a year from the time I got cut by the Broncos to really realize that it was over.
Well, let's just talk a little football and then, to wrap things up. Like, number one thing incoming rookies need to know to be successful in the NFL.
What we talked about before, perseverance, hard work, like every day.
What does that look like?
Taking care of your body, getting your playbook. The more you know, the better off you're going to be. Soak up the leadership and the veterans, what they're doing. Follow someone who knows what they're doing and do that. And just be adaptable. Do anything you're asked to do. Of course, special teams is very important for a young player. Not everybody's going to be the first-round draft pick. And it's funny, like, it's the dudes who are hungry and are trying to make it. That's the heartbeat of every locker room. And so be one of those guys. Be hungry, and follow the leader, basically.
Top 3 things you learned from Mike Shanahan.
Study, be prepared, handle yourself with class, and be accountable.
What is so important for leaders about being honest that translates to production and success to the team?
Yeah, if they're not honest, it's at their own peril. If you want your team to be successful, you have to be honest with everybody about where they stand, because if not, you're not getting the best out of them.
You're a New York Times bestseller. You're a writer. You love to write. Where did you discover that passion? How have you made sure that you stay true to that passion and that part of yourself?
It wasn't until college that I really started writing. Like, I started writing for my school newspaper, and I really enjoyed it. I had a column, and I could write about whatever I wanted. And that's when I started really writing for me and kind of manifesting what was inside of me.
He is Nate Jackson, best-selling, New York Times best-selling author, father, husband, One hell of a veteran of the NFL in his 6-year career, and clearly still not done writing his story. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate
Thank you,
you.
guys. I appreciate you.